Hi there, my name is Lola and I'm here today to talk to you about 21st century literacies and how they can be used in the science classroom. So let's get started. So, what are 21st century literacies? Well, some background first. So literacy has always been taught in a standard format. Students read a written passage, then write down answers to questions to test their understanding. But over the last 20 years, changing society and emergent technologies have revolutionized the way in which we communicate. From iPads to YouTube, these new forms of technology have enabled us to share content in a variety of ways. These new ways of communicating are our 21st century literacies. Literacy, therefore, has become multi-literacies. So, what are multi-literacies? Well, they are new ways in which we can access information, and they are also new possibilities for creating and producing texts. The flexibility of these texts means different interpretations are possible. Different contexts and different social-cultural factors allow for diverse meanings of language to be gained. So, this new technology affects many aspects of our lives, and to deal with these changes we have to have the skills to adapt. These skills can only be gained through experiencing new literacies. To be successful at this, people must process simultaneously different combinations of text modes. For example, image with sound with gestures. This grouping of modes is called multimodality. Multimodality allows us to create meaning better than using just one individual mode. In this changing society, people today are not happy to be merely audience members or spectators. They want to be players, users, creators of their own content. To be good at this, they have to be good at using multiple text modes. Evidence of this is through gaming, especially virtual reality gaming, as well as iPad use, or even constructing a playlist on an iPod. So, how do these new techno-literacies affect our students in their own social worlds? Well, outside of school, students already utilize these new literacies effectively. Facebook, Instagram, wikis, blogs, SoundCloud, YouTube, fanfiction, World of Warcraft, Minecraft are all examples of media students already use. These have many benefits to students' learning. The main positives for students are that there are few barriers to artistic expression, there is a strong support for creating and sharing your own content, there is a diversification of cultural expression. People who would never have normally communicated in the physical world can do so over the internet. And students believe that their contributions matter. There is peer-to-peer learning. Everyone is both a mentor and a mentee. And anonymity. Students express ideas more willingly than they would do in the classroom. So how does technology help students? Well, people have suggested that using new media and less book-type studying means students' core skills are degraded. The evidence, though, is in the opposite. There are several core media literacy skills that are increased in students who are techno-literate. Students are 1. Better problem solvers. They enjoy the challenge of participating in games or producing a new media piece. It is the end goal or purpose that keeps them engaged and willing to participate in the activity, even if it is testing them. They are better at seeing the world from different perspectives. Analyzing stories or game setups from different roles enables them to theoretically manipulate the world. This can be applied to any scenario. In our faculty, as Jenkins et al. Said in their 2006 paper, the students can think of Einstein himself role-playing as a proton speeding over Earth, giving him new ideas. Students are also better multitaskers. They can scan content to find relevant details whilst taking in multiple stimuli. And they are better collaborators. Solving problems together gives students greater self-confidence and enjoyment in their activity. So why should teaching methods change? Well, old teaching methods fall short when compared to this new environment, failing the expectations of students. Schools cannot afford to ignore these changes. Due to human differences, teaching in just one mode of learning favours some learners over the others. Therefore, increasing the complexity of other modes, whilst also still keeping original written text learning, will allow students who might struggle in the traditional methods to feel more included in the lesson. as well as bringing their own different perspectives to the table. This optimizes the learning experience for everyone. So, what should teachers do? Well, as we said, teaching should be a dynamic, participatory process, rather than just students reproducing what the teacher has said to them. Teaching should aim to create students that are open to new ideas, who are active learners, and who question and reimagine the world around them. So teachers must allow opportunities for all students to develop the skills needed to participate in these new technologies fully. The skills and self-confidence students gain from using new media is seen as a leg up when applying for jobs or further study in the future, whereas students who can't utilize the technology are seen as socially excluded. During this process, teachers must help students to understand which literacy mode is the most effective to reach their audience and communicate their message. Students must be able to think across multiple modes and analyze them for which one will be the most effective. Teachers must also encourage collaboration and networking. In our faculty, for example, this could be sharing content between schools that would never meet personally, for example, interstate schools, or having links with local scientists in the area to help carry out simple data collection or analysis tasks. Teachers should also encourage the creative experience. Allowing for students to express themselves in different literacy modes enables them to change the way they think about themselves and the world. Teachers should help students to understand the purpose behind texts, including games. Students must question the motives of the people producing the texts, not take everything to be truth. They need to see the inaccuracies in the text and judge the reliability of the producer. Following on from this, teachers must also help students recognize commercial influence on texts, including adverts that may be hidden in texts or games. And lastly, teachers should help students embrace diversity and prevent them from sharing texts that perpetuate stereotypes. An example to do this in our faculty would maybe be to video conference with scientists from a different country to get different backgrounds. So, students are often limited to experience the new technologies due to the teacher's own personal familiarity and experience with this new technology, and the teachers don't know how to incorporate it into their own classroom. Therefore, as a way in, we should try to integrate new technology with the old traditional curriculum. This is very important, as studies have shown that increasing multimodality within the science classroom helps students to understand scientific concepts better, particularly those who may struggle in traditional learning methods. So how can we incorporate these 21st century literacies into our science classrooms? Well, for use within lessons, a major one is YouTube, which can include songs, cartoons or practical experiment videos, and that really helps the students become engaged in the topic. There's also games and problem-solving software, which is already available from scientific websites, that help students grasp the topic. A more complex example of this, but maybe your students might be interested in, is the scientific puzzle game Fold It, which mimics protein folding patterns. Gamers solved one of these, a structure of an age-related enzyme found in monkeys, in about 3 weeks, compared to around 13 years of scientific research. And productivity software is always good, so word processing, spreadsheets, mind maps, or presentations such as PowerPoint or Movie Maker are always very useful. And it's also good for students to produce their own multimodal resources to show that they understand the concept. And some examples of these are to create magazine articles, which have the added benefit of giving students a glimpse into real life journals. They could also write letters, they could produce newspaper articles, they could produce videos, or they could make cartoons. It's also useful to use web technology for collaborative work, such as creating wikis or using VoiceThread to share science reports and assignments through digital storytelling. So that is the end of the presentation. I hope it's given you an insight into 21st century literacies and how they can be used in the science classroom. Here are my references, and thank you for listening.